Hi, I'm Wayne Tuttle, and welcome to Chasing Legends. Welcome back to Chasing Legends. Please go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out our description, our about section. Pick up a shirt, Dutch Hunter Rendezvous, Legend of the Superstition Mountains, hats, t-shirts, coffee cups, whatever you could possibly need, we got it there. Also, check out our website, www.legendofthesuperstitionmountains.com. Okay, being all through that, remember the Dutch Hunter Rendezvous this year, 2022, coming up the 4th, 5th, and 6th of November. So come on out Friday afternoon, evening. Most all the activities, all the events, everybody out there talking will be out there Saturday. Okay, our guest speaker that night will be Jesse Feldman. Now we're in to the month of October, which is the witching hour, the spooky time, whatever we want to call it. And last week, starting October 3rd, Frank just happened to open us with the Lizard Man story. Yeah, I know. But we'll continue along that theme through October because everybody says, why don't you do the spooky stuff at all? And I don't always have a bunch of those stories, but I got a few odd ones, and we'll revisit one over this next month before we get to the rendezvous. This one takes place probably late 83, early 84. Now, this is kind of, everyone's been through that time. You're in that period of life. You just need to get away. A lot of things are changing in your life. And I went out to spend a couple days up in the mountains, drove out, decided I was going to go up into Boulder Canyon. So I went to First Water, went through Brush Corral, figured I'd make a loop up through Boulder Canyon. So came in, just nice weather, hiked in, didn't bring a tent or anything, just figured I'd just throw a tarp on the ground, sleep on the ground, explore the area. Had no particular thing I was looking for or anything I was doing other than just get away. So I get back into Boulder, set up camp. First day, nothing really happens. And I set up camp. I probably had freeze-dried meals, dehydrated crap. But I used to like them. I used to really like the spaghetti with the little hot dogs in them. I liked those a lot. So I probably had something like that. Went to sleep. Got up the next morning. You know, you can't sleep in. Once the sun starts coming up, you're up. And so I woke up. I was having oatmeal because the oatmeal was the easiest thing to cook when you're out by yourself and you're just traveling. Just hot water, pour it in the packets, eat it. You can always bring plenty of packets and eat till you're full. So I'm eating my oatmeal and I hear something coming down the canyon towards me. And I hear some rocks and I'm thinking, could be a deer, could be a bighorn sheep. And I'm kind of looking up in there. I'm kind of like, meh. And you just figure they're up there. You can't really see them, but they're back in the brush or somewhere. So after a bit, and it's kind of quiet, and I'm eating, and then I can hear it again. It's a little closer. So I'm looking around, figuring it's going to scare the crap out of that deer or bighorn when they come popping out and they suddenly see me just sitting there quietly eating my oatmeal. Wait, and then I can hear the brush and a lot of movement, and then it stops. At that point, I'm a little curious because I'm kind of trying to figure out what it is, why does it stop and start? And then suddenly the brush is moving, I hear a bunch of noise, and then this guy just comes flying out of there. And he's got his backpack, and he's just stumbling along, and his eyes are big as saucers. So I'm just sitting there, and he comes looking, and he's like, there's something chasing me, there's something following me, there's something out there, blah, blah, blah. And he's just in this full-blown panic, just blurting shit out. And I'm just kind of, like a 19, 20-year-old kid. I'm just sitting there, like, looking at him like, what the hell? He was probably in his 30s. But he was in full-blown panic, out of breath, just freaking gasping. Got over to me, dropped his pack. I said, hey, relax, take a breath. And he's like, I was camped back in there. Something coming. We got to get out of here. We need to leave. We need to get out of here. And I'm like, just calm down, take your breath. I had my rifle, so I reached over and kind of showed him, picked up the rifle that was laying there and said, hey, we're good. And I was just kind of keeping my eye on the canyon. Nothing, I'm not hearing anything. It's like things chasing me, and I got him to calm down a little. Said, you want some oatmeal or something? And he's thinking I'm crazy. There's this kid just sitting there, and he's just eating oatmeal. And he's just like, you want oatmeal? Yeah. And because I'm not hearing anything, and I'm just thinking something spooked this guy. But so he starts calming down and I'm kind of what had happened. He came in the same way as me, first water, went up through Boulder. He'd been up the canyon a little further than me. And he said he got in, and the first evening he was eating dinner and he heard some rocks. And it was kind of like what I heard with him, but he said it was like something was throwing rocks, but they weren't big rocks. He said I would hear rocks. He said I figured it's deer or bighorn, something back in there. He said I didn't think much of it, and it got quiet at night. Thought I heard something during the night a couple times. I woke up, but then every time I'd wake up, whatever it was woke me up, and I couldn't tell what I was hearing. I heard a noise. And he said, I couldn't tell you what it was, but I didn't think anything of it. And he said, I went back to sleep. He said, I was just laying out. I'm in my sleeping bag. And he said, I woke up this morning and I realized I was being drugged. And something was dragging my sleeping bag, and I'm in it. And he said, all I know is I looked up and I saw this huge dark shape. And he said, I just saw something big, huge, dark shadow, and it's dragging my sleeping bag, and I came flying out of it. And he said, I ran through my camp. He said, I grabbed my boots, I grabbed my pack, and I just kept running. And he said, I'd run, and I thought I could hear it behind me. It smelled horrible. He said it smelled like rotting garbage, whatever was going on. And he kept taking off, and he said he'd stop and listen, and then he could hear brush moving or something, like something was just walking down through there. So he'd take off again. And he said, I'm sure it's still coming. It doesn't seem to be in a hurry. But whatever it is, I don't know what it is. I don't care. I just want out of here. I don't care. I said, did you leave anything back there? You need to go back and check. No. We need to leave. So I told him, why don't you start heading out through Brush Corral, head back to first water. I'll get my stuff together. I can watch you. I'll move up on the ridge here. I'll get a little more elevation. And I'll kind of look back down the canyon, make sure nothing's coming. And then after you've been gone a little while, then I'll come down. And then I'll just keep watching back behind us. I got a rifle, so. And he kind of settled down, thought that was a good idea. I said, yeah, I promise I'll follow you out. Just you get going. I'll grab my stuff, and then I'll be about a half hour, 45 minutes behind you. So he gets going. I grab my stuff, and everyone here who's watched any of these videos knows me. So I went looking for his camp. So I start going up, and I figure it sounded like he'd been running for about an hour, half hour, but he'd been stop and start. So I figured he can't be too far up. So I make my way up, and I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. There's nothing particular going on. And then I get to the spot, and I look over, and there's a tree. I don't know, there's a tree around here. Not much bigger than the Palo Verde behind me. And there's this blue thing in it. And I figure, what the hell? It's a sleeping bag, and it's laying up in the tree. It's not high off the ground. It's just like laying up in the tree. So I'm like, this must be this guy's sleeping bag. So I grab the sleeping bag. I look around, don't see anything really on the ground. Ground was kind of like what it is right now. It's been raining, so it's a little caliche, a little hard packed. So I look around, go back, and then I found his camp. He had a little fire. I found the stuff bag for the sleeping bag, and there was a tarp there that was kind of off to the side and blown over. So I folded that up, put it inside the sleeping bag, rolled the sleeping bag, put it in the stuff bag. Didn't see anything else. Looked around, I could see basically one set of boot prints running around, and then I saw what looked like a bare footprint or two going out. So I was kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of weird, the sleeping bag and the thing. I don't see any other footprints in anything. So I started heading out, and I decided to go up go up the other way, go through second water, go across Garden Valley, cut out, get to first water, and there's the Rangers, the green shirts. And they're sitting there, and there's that guy. And he looks so happy to see me. He said, oh my God, I was telling them all about it. And I told him you were behind me. Now, he didn't realize which way I went at first because I'm behind him and the trails meet up before it gets there. And then he looks down at my hand and he sees me, I'm carrying this sleeping bag. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You know how stupid that was, how dangerous. I'm like, well, I grabbed your stuff. Didn't see anything up through there. threw it back to him. Rangers are looking at me because they obviously don't believe a word he's saying. And I told them, I said, when I found his camp, the sleeping bag was up in a tree. I said, I have no idea, whatever. And the one guy, I remember the one ranger was shaking his head like this. And the other one's just watching me, listening to me. And I said, so I have no idea. Well, then the guy, I wasn't saying he was a liar or anything. I just said I didn't see any tracks. Couldn't really see anything. Never saw anything, smelled anything. Said, I don't know. I said, I don't know what he saw or what, he thinks he saw or whatnot. But I said, I didn't see anything back in there. There was nobody else up in the canyon I could see. And so the one ranger walked off, and that guy got mad. And then the guy got mad. He got mad. You guys don't believe me. Grabbed the sleeping bag, went over, threw it in a car, started it up, and just took off. So the other ranger turned to me and said, it's weird. Because he said, that's the second guy that's told me something like that up back in there. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And he said, you didn't see nothing. And I said, no. Now, I've been back through there dozens of times. I never smelled the rotting smell. I never saw anything in there. But whatever that guy saw, I can tell you to this day, it scared him so badly that I'm sure he wet himself. And I can imagine waking up in your sleeping bag, and I thought mountain lion, but he said he saw a dark, he put his hand in the air, and it had to be 6.5 feet, 7 feet in the air. And he said there was something big. Now, when you're laying on the ground, who knows? But he swears that something was dragging him back out of camp. He was able to get out of the sleeping bag and run. So you're back in Boulder Canyon. You smelling rotten garbage. Maybe best just to pack your stuff and get out. So there it is. That's the second Halloween tale for October 2022 before we get to the rendezvous. So I hope everybody's enjoying themselves, having a great time. Hope to see all of you that can out at the rendezvous. Until the next time, always remember, I'm Wayne Tuttle. This is the Superstition Mountains, and you're not. And this was Chasing Legends.